welcome to GAPT. This webinar is sponsored by UP State Webinar Women's Wing. Let me give short introduction about UP State Women's Wing. Okay, first of all, I introduce Dr. Sita Singh. She is National President in GAPT. Dr. Akanksha, National Vice President in GAPT. After that, the member of UP State, Dr. Tripti Shahi, President in GAPT, and Dr. Neha Bhatia, Vice President in GAPT, Dr. Garima Chaurasia, General Secretary in GAPT, and Dr. Priyanka, Secretary in GAPT, Dr. Nidhi Upadhyay, Joint Secretary, and Dr. Chandni, Treasurer, Dr. Priyanka, Secretary. Today's webinar speaker, Dr. Vinita Modi, General Secretary in GAPT, National General Secretary in GAPT. Okay, the topic is postural dysfunction, a base of maximum injuries. I requested to all participants to keep their mic off and don't download the lecture. We are uploading this recording in YouTube channel of GAPT. All members are requested to be in range to avoid any interruption. So please, Dr. Vinita Modi, you start.
Okay. Hello everybody. I'm Dr. Vinita Modi. Dr. Garima, thank you so much for the introduction. It was a very warm welcome. Okay, so everyone, let us start with today's topic, postural dysfunction, a base of maximum injuries. So, as we all know, we have a lot of topics to cover in physiotherapy as a webinar. But I see a very less emphasis which is given on the postural dysfunction. In my experience of clinical practice, आज तक मैंने जितने भी cases देखे हैं, maximum उनका base रहा है the postural dysfunction. There's always a case of back pain, but it is always a symptom which is related to something dysfunctional going on with the hip. See, the thing is, we are the descendants of the hunter-gatherers. मतलब our body was programmed to function like anything. ये लोग रोज अपना जाते थे जंगलों में खाना मार के लेके आते थे. They used to run so many kilometers. So our body is, it's used to functioning a lot. लेकिन अभी क्या हो रहा है, since the time, as evolution has come and to this era, आज के टाइम पे ऐसा हो गया, we are, even we as a physio, we are into this laid back position कि हम लोग आजकल बैठे रहते हैं maximum. हम लोग हमारा काम भी करते हैं तो we rely mostly on machines and everything. So इसीलिए machines का advancement ज़्यादा हो रहा है और hands-on physiotherapy is going less somewhere. So, that's how inactivity is coming. And the more inactivity is coming, the more you are screwing up with your posture. So, what is considered normal today is honestly not normal. तो हम लोग के लिए कुछ लोगों के लिए normal just sitting on the desk is normal for them. Like suppose they are sitting, जैसे कि हम लोग सब देखते हैं maximum desk job में जो injuries आती हैं हम लोग उसको देखते हैं. So what happens is they are sitting for 8 hours. So for their body that is normal. तो उसके बाद if suddenly वो लोग Sunday को जाके कोई sports plan करते हैं, like they plan to play some sports and everything, and they land up into injuries. And they come to us with a lot of sports injuries like the groin pain and the knee pain and the hip pain. So basically, if you're sitting around for 8 hours daily for say 6 days a week, तो वो आपका बन गया normal. उसके बाद अगर आप एक दिन activity करोगे, so you cannot honestly expect your body to, एकदम से function like a macho, like एकदम अलग से bravo energy आ जाएगा and you'll start functioning. So this is not happening. So you will function is very important for your muscles to be in proper shape, for your body to be in proper design. So you will have to keep yourself, even as physios, you need to check yourself and keep yourself really fit. Okay. So we have a lot of postural trainings, जैसे कि बहुत सारे assessments होते हैं. but ditching all of them straight away, I'm taking you to this simple design, which is called as the 4-point socket. Okay, so I want you guys to look at the screen for a while. I'm going to share something on the screen. Just a second. Can you all see the screen? Dr. Garima, can you confirm?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you can't. Just a second. Okay. Okay, Dr. Garima,
Yeah.
fine. So I'm the host now, so that I can share the screen, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you all see the screen now?
No.
Not yet?
No.
It's blur, ma'am, actually. It's blur.
Okay, just a second. Okay, now can you see the screen? No?
No.
No, ma'am. We're not able to see.
Nothing.
Not visible. Okay. Just a second. Can you give me like 2 minutes?
Okay.
Check open.
Thank you. Why is it unable to share the screen? We will have access to all the information. Okay, can you, okay, I think now you'll be able to see the screen. Can you
Yes,
see the
ma'am. Now, yes, ma'am. It is clearly visible right now.
Okay, lovely. Take care. So we were talking about the 4-point socket, okay? So this is the 4-point socket. So how it goes is, suppose that's your head and your shoulder. So we will draw a line. So just a second. So we will draw a line like that, okay, at the shoulder. And then second line is drawn at the hip like that, and knee like that, the ankle like that. And then this is one line which is drawn like this. So in an ideal posture, no, your shoulder joint should come over your hip joint, which should come over your knee joint, which should come over your ankle joint. Everything they make an angle of 90 degree here, okay. At any given position, the 90 degree would be maintained. So even if you're doing anything, this 90 degree has to be maintained. You can check it with yourself also. Okay. Okay, I lost. Okay, guys, I'm unable to go to the meeting. Just hold on. Huh? Yeah, okay. So that is what we were talking about, the 4-point position. Like you all got the 4-point position because that would be very important. Okay. So there would be a difference where like structurally everybody's body is different. So sometimes the shoulder will not be coming over the hip directly, like it will be a little wider, but then they always make a parallel box kind of a structure. Okay, so make sure that you always assume a 90 degree falling, and even at the angle, even at the ankle, they should be making the 90 degree right on the floor. Okay, so you can also go check your body, like you'll be standing in front of the mirror and you'll try to draw the lines. Like if you want to go a little overboard, what you can do is put the tape on the mirror, and you can actually check yourself, like whether your joints are aligned properly in the parallel 90 degrees angle as it was shown. Okay. And then there is the spine. So our vertebrae, they allow the four degrees of movement, right? So when we see, okay, I'll be again sharing another screen. So this is your spine. Can you see the spine from the side angle? I just want confirmation. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is the side angle. Okay, so you are seeing your spine, which is so you're seeing your spine, which is falling like that. Okay, and that's how again it's making a 90 degree here. At the knee, it's making a 90 degree. So we see the genu, the knee hyperextension and hyperflexion. So the angle changes here, So that's how we have to check that this makes a 90 degree at the knee. This is the ankle. It's still making 90 degree at the ankle. And of course, it's your head, which is also a very important, the shoulder and the head junction. And this is your hip. So every time in any ideal position, they would be making a 90 degrees angle. Okay. Yeah. So that was the second part. And then bifunctionality. So you'll have to remember bifunctionality, which is if say suppose if one side of your body is screwed up, like if your shoulder is drooping down, so there's always a compensation, okay, on the other side, which is taken from the left side of the shoulder. So sometimes the patient literally comes with a left shoulder pain. So what happens is the right shoulder is kind of chronically, like it must have been it must have been painful to the patient, the right shoulder first, but then the patient must have neglected the right shoulder. So the right shoulder chronically has gone into a dysfunction, maybe a rounded position or something very stiff. But the presentation is coming on the left side now. So the patient might present to you with the left-sided pain. But remember one thing, that you'll have to be vigilant about the posture, and you might want to have a look at the right shoulder, because the right shoulder might be at the fault structurally, but the symptoms would be showing up on the left shoulder. So you do not go and treat the left shoulder. Of course, we take care of the pain first. But then since you go to the root cause, so you will be definitely moving to the right shoulder to see any abnormality, because your body is always going to have bifunctional or this thing compensatory mechanisms. Okay, so every time you are looking at one joint, you will have to definitely see the other side of the body, which will be maybe it is the primary reason, or maybe it is the secondary compensatory mechanism. Okay, anything could be the presentation. So you'll have to remember that thing. Okay, on that note, suppose I'm just giving you a small case study. Okay, so there are very small signs that our body shows. So suppose, for example, a man is crossing at a signal and he's anxious to see the red lights and everything. So what he does is he starts scratching his back of the hand like this. Okay, so for us or for him, it's just a normal scratch, but that would be a sign, a development of CTS. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay, so carpal tunnel syndrome is also it's just a symptom. It's not a diagnosis, like it's not a primary disease. CTS is always a symptom for a shoulder dysfunction. So he must be having something at his shoulder, and you can actually just figure it out with all these things. So whenever you're seeing a knee pain, or you're seeing an ankle pain, or mostly injuries related to cartilage, wear and tear, it is all postural. So something must be happening at the bigger joint, the bigger areas, which is your hip, your shoulder. And that's how you look at that first. And then you go to the, like your knee pain could be a symptom, your ankle pain could be a symptom. But we as a clinicians, we would just sometimes mislead, and we can just start treating the knee pain, and we treat it a lot till the time we obviously take the pain off the patient. But the patient comes again after a while saying, okay, problem is not solved, because of course the problem was not there. It was always the postural dysfunction. So I want you to all to open the eyes right from the moment the patient is entering your clinic, or you're seeing, as far as because that is the most natural position that you can see your patient. Because if you tell your patient, to stand in front of you. He might just become conscious and would like to rectify all the postures, in a proper way. So you'll be misled with a lot of information. So misleading information. And that's how, so whenever the patient is walking naturally into the clinic, you look into it, so you look from of course, you're seeing from the front angle. So you'll have to see a lot of stuff like if one side of the shoulder is coming forward or more, if the patient is walking from the shoulder. So it's like a walk from the shoulder. Okay, we'll be coming to it. And then suppose the patient's hip is a little more rotated and something like that. Okay, then you can check for a lot of signs. Like for example, a patient is sitting on your chair. So you might want to have a look that whether he or she is putting a lot of weight on one side of the hip, because that is also a very mandatory information. Because what happens is when there is only one side hip weight bearing, that means that hip is kind of, it's like a tilted position. So that hip and the muscles around all the, all your hip flexors and everything is going to be tight. It's going to be, your back muscles are going to be, here, the back muscles are going to be the compensatory muscles. They are going to be in spasm. The patient must be complaining of a low back pain. Whereas, the hip is just misaligned. And if you just align the hip like that properly, the superficial pain is just going to go away. So sometimes you'll not even have to work on the real pain, but you'll have to, the diagnosis is really important. If you get to the very good diagnosis, you will not even have to treat the real symptom what the patient has. You can directly go and hit the root, and it will be 100%. Like the patient will not be coming back to you. Because this is what we want ultimately. Okay, we don't want to treat his pain because pain is just a symptom. We need to attack to the root, because the root is where the patient cannot reach. We as a doctors, we need to reach the root, because pain is obvious for him. For us, we all can see the pain. And pain management, there are a lot of pain management in the market. So if you are just doing the pain management, you're not going to give 100% results ever. So, and it's every time. Like I can I don't know, let's leave about the traumatic cases and stuff like that. But otherwise, whenever a patient is coming with a complaint of pain or any, even a sciatica for that matter, even sciatica is a sort of a symptom which has come from the again the hip. So hip is kind of compensatory mechanism. So your nerve gets impinged, and that's how sciatica, you can land into sciatica. And yes, so our body always functions as a whole. Okay, there's always oneness. So if your muscle is affected, your nerve is affected, and that is what is carrying the information to your bones. So you're not moving your bones properly, and sometimes you might land up into the compartmental blockages and stuff like that, varicose veins and a lot of stuff. And then even your sympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, they all function all together. So whenever you're seeing one symptom, you have to relate it to all these four things, whether it's this, that. It is never one. So like I would like to give again a case study, a very small case study here. So there was this patient who had come with a cold feet, okay, and a burning sensation. I think this is very commonly encountered to all of us, cold feet and a burning sensation at the feet, So the patient was presenting with that problem. And she was diagnosed to have a neuropathic condition. And she was convinced that she had a neuropathic condition. And obviously, we also think like, 90% times we'll just keep it as neuropathic condition. But her problem was so simple. Like we just made her do a little warm-up exercise, maybe just just a marching for 15 minutes. We just made her do that. And that's how. So what had happened here is something on. Yes. Okay. Now it's mute all. Okay. So what had happened is she was not So she was not using her body properly. She was not walking. She was doing upper body activities, but she was not doing lower body activities. So what had happened? Her muscles had given her signs. Like it had obviously it started with a lot. It started with a leg pain, but then slowly her nerves started coming into picture. How? Her nerve thought that it's no use sending blood, oxygenated blood to the lower foot areas and the lazy calf muscles, because since it is not in use, it could be used somewhere else, and that's why it had gone to flaccidity, and that's how the neuropathic signs were seen. But just after a 15 minutes of a foot workout, she was again back to normal. So basically, it was again unuse of the muscles. So sometimes it's not that grave symptom. You need to see a symptom as a symptom. That even knee pain could be a symptom, even ankle pain, even that neuropathic sign could be a symptom. But we kind of rush into it thinking that it's sciatica. Okay, we have this protocol, we need to follow all this. No, of course not. So as a physios, you would be having a lot of role to relieve the pain, to maybe put the patient into overall fitness, to maybe just start the function of that particular muscle or that particular joint, and to restore the function. Basically, I think your role should always focus on restoring the function. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay. So also, yes, I wanted to share this very interesting case study. So I had encountered, so there's a surgeon who does two type of surgeries. Okay, this is a very interesting case. So he's a surgeon who does two type of surgeries. One is he does traumatic surgeries. One is he does the knee replacement surgeries. So he came to me with a low back pain. Okay, 2 days ago, and he had been to a spine specialist. He had been to a lot of specialists. Since he's a surgeon, he has access to a lot of places. So what happened was, it was a very simple thing. So his thing was that whenever he is doing the joint replacement surgery, he's not having the low back pain. But whenever he's doing the traumatic surgery, he's having a low back pain. So that was his history. That's how he presented to me. Like whenever he does a traumatic surgery, there is pain, and whenever he does the knee replacement, there is no pain. And I wanted to find out what is the reason. So we checked his ranges, everything was okay. There was a little stiffness at the low back, but with his symptom, the way he was describing his issue, it was very tricky to understand what happens. So what was happening? So he had a posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so what was happening? His posture was going on the backside. And when I saw him, his posture was going on the backside. And so I asked him, he must be having a plantar fascia pain or must be having a calcaneal pain. And he told me that he's already using a sole in the shoe. So that's how you can actually know what people are up to. So when I saw, there was just this backward pelvic tilt. Okay, so what had happened? The posterior pelvic tilt, like this, had kind of pulled him back overall. And for that compensatory mechanism, his head had kind of come forward like this. So whenever he was doing the surgery, during the trauma surgery, when he was having a lot of pain, he was not able to take the rest at the surgery bed. He was not able to rest. And this was the small trick which led me to this diagnosis that his pelvic is at fault. It's not any other thing. He's done x-rays, MRI. He's tried explaining this particular thing to the spine surgeon. The spine surgeon kind of made him believe that it's all in the head and everything. But what was happening is, while doing the joint replacement surgery, he was since it's a surgery which goes for 4-5 hours or less or longer, so he was taking a support. So when he was taking a support, the body's COG, the center of gravity, was kind of falling in a proper alignment, position. The 4-point socket, the diagram that we saw. So there's this line that goes in the center, which is the center of gravity, the body's center of gravity, the COG line. That is also very important. So what was happening in this case, when he was backward, he was trying to chase his COG. And that was not even coming, he was constantly trying to chase. And because of that, all the posterior muscles were going into stiffness. And that was majorly done by the low back. the low back area, the entire legs, his entire leg were tight. And whenever he was coming forward to take a support at the bed angle, he was kind of falling back to his body's natural COG. So yes, this is very important when you are using your body properly in alignment with its natural COG and the natural alignment. You are at the optimum of your health, energy. You will have no pains, no strains, and you'll be able to function more 2-3 hours without even getting tired, just by using your body correctly. And since we are being habitual of using our body less, the function is becoming less, and that's why we feel tiredness every 2 hours, 3 hours of activity. Okay, so that's how I think it's going fine. I just need one confirmation, like you guys are able to, are you all with me? Because I can't hear anyone, so I just need one confirmation.
Yes, ma'am. We all are
Yes,
with
yes,
you.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with this, we are jumping to 3 conditions. Okay. So 4. Okay. So why did I say 4? So basically, there are 3 conditions. This will help you in categorizing the patient. Body's dysfunction condition 1, body's dysfunction condition 2, 3, and 4th is honestly not a dysfunction because it is a deluxe body design. Okay. So I want you to again look at the screen. I'll be sharing a screen, which would be the condition 1, impairment. Okay. Okay. Just have a look here. Share the screen. Okay. And it goes here. Okay. So this is your condition number 1. See, honestly, the conditions are just the progression of the actual this impairment, the postural impairment. Okay. So in condition 1, majorly we focus at the hip area. Okay, this area. This could be honestly assessed with a lot of things. For example, your waistband, the waist belt that you see in a lot of people, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like this, and sometimes it's straight. So when it is straight, it's good. Otherwise, the deviation you can actually notice with it starts with the waist belt. Okay. So in condition 1, we have a condition 1 when we have a pelvic, so when we have a forward pelvic tilt and eversion of the foot. Okay, so we have 2 important factors here. The feet will be everted and the pelvic will be in the forward tilt. Okay, so this thing is general. You will find this in condition 1. Okay, I will come to the symptoms of it later when I would like to tell you the condition number 2. Okay, so first is, and this is the side view of the condition number 1. So what happens is see, like I said, your hip is going into forward pelvic tilt, because of which, as you can see, you have the eversion of the foot. So this is the eversion where you are taking the maximum pressure out here. Okay? And then this is the forward pelvic tilt. Jiski wajah se, of course, you have the belly which is sagging down. Even your belly is sagging down because of your posture. So this could be true. You have this exaggerated lower spine. Then you have this compensatory head tilt, forward tilt, which goes like that. And of course, you have the stiff knee. So whenever you're walking in such gait, it is obvious that, so this is condition. So guys, that was condition number 1. Okay, so let's just focus on condition number 1 for a while. Honestly, see, whenever you are going to see condition number 1, you can have a lot of symptoms up on the upper part of your body, or you can have a lot of symptoms down. But just to make it easy, we have made condition number 1, which specifically focuses on the hip tilt and the foot eversion. So remember, and of course, you might have another presentation that like the hip could go backwards, like I was explaining in the example earlier. So the hip might go backwards and the foot might go into inversion also. But to make it easier generally, so we are just talking about the majority. Okay, so majority, what happens is it goes in the forward tilt and your foot goes into eversion. So what happens is whenever you are making that heel strike, whenever you're attempting to walk, so when you're attempting to walk, you're making that heel strike, the pressure, the shock is not actually going from the ankle joint to the ground. You know what is happening, it's going to the lateral muscles, and because of which you have a wear and tear of the cartilage. Your cartilage is going to go for a toss at the knee, at the ankle. You will have a wear and tear of the cartilage soon enough if you start if you have a prolonged walk like that. And of course, since your hip is tilting forwards, honestly, I don't want you to put a lot of brains into it. Just understand the simple mechanics. The hip is tilting forwards. You'll have a tight structures in here and a loosened structures out there. Okay, backside you'll have a loosened structures and inside you have a tight structures. और सबसे ज़्यादा tight होने वाला muscle is hip flexors, and this is the strongest muscle. So the point is, agar your hip flexors are tight, it is going to hold your hip into forward flexion. और उसके बाद you'll have tight knees, you'll have the peroneal will be tight, आपका soleus will be tight, everything would be the tight structures, and that's how you'll have the impairment. So that is condition number 1, impairment, in which your hip and your the eversion, the classic hip forward tilt and the eversion is found. Okay, now we see the condition number 2, impairment. Okay, I'm again sharing a screen. Kindly look at the screen. Just give me a second. Okay. So now this means condition number 2. Okay, so what happens in condition number 2 is mostly it attacks. So mostly it attacks your shoulder. Attacks your shoulder, matlab the representation is with the shoulder. ठीक है? And this is the side view. This is the side view of condition number 2. अब ये condition number 2 में क्या होगा? देखो, hip element is there. Now what is happening in the hip? The hip is kind of rotating forwards from one side. ठीक है? ये वाला hip यहाँ पे rotate हुआ. ठीक है? It's laterally down and forward rotation. ठीक है? So this is rotating medially. Sorry, not laterally. This is rotating medially. तो ये आया medially. इसका compensatory, this upper torso is again rotating like this. Of course, your head is going to be tilted to maintain इधर का mechanics. ठीक है? And what is happening? Spine में इतना movement क्यों होता है? Because 4 degrees movement होता है ना हर एक vertebra में. So what happens is उसी का फायदा उठा के ना the 4 degrees यहाँ पे सब आके they get stuck. And that's how you have a lot of facetal symptoms या फिर facetal blocking होता है. And a lot of people, they come to chiropractic and a lot of things, they try. और क्या होता है? You release all these spots and you feel relieved. But why did the spots form in the first place? We need to take care of that, right? As physios, we just don't need to relieve the patient of the symptom, because हम लोग I think आजकल यही कर रहे हैं. We are just relieving the patient of the symptom, but that's not our main job. Okay, so so let's just focus on condition number 2. So इसका आया shoulder forward with the hip rotating forward. ठीक है? इसका so इसमें ना you'll have 2 classical signs. One is the foot. ठीक है? Another is the hand posture. So whenever the patient is coming to you, you need to look at both the hands. ठीक है? Quickly I'll take you to the side view of so this is a side view of condition number 2. Here also you can see the side view. इसमें one thing I want you to notice is can you see the foot? एक पीछे है, एक आगे है. Okay, one is forwarding, one is pointing. The toe is pointing into another direction. Another toe is pointing into another direction. Also the thumb and finger, and then the thumb and the finger here. Okay, ठीक है. With the rotation. Somebody's mic is on. Can you switch it off, please? Okay, so you all Wait, I can tell you. Yeah, all right. Okay, so you saw the condition number 2. Condition number 2, mein what happens is the hip and the foot element, which was in condition number 1, that is of course going to be there because I told you the body works as one unit. Condition number 2, mein we will see classical signs at the shoulder and the compensatory your neck. So what will happen? Like you can apply the logic here. So shoulder agar ek side aayega, so whenever you seeing a patient coming to you and the patient is standing in its natural, natural body design, so usme what you will see is uska thumb, either it's directing, like both the thumbs are not directing forward, it's either it's directing here, uska you can see the back of the hand, ya fir ye hand you can see the back of the hand and thumb. Basically it's not like this, okay? It will present like this, and with this of course you can see the shoulder is coming forward a little with your head kind of compensating like that, so it'll be shortening of this muscle, your head ka position, the entire yahan shortening milega, yahan pe shortening milega. The forward you will feel as if the person is walking from the shoulder, okay? And then you will see the compensatory at the hip that we discussed, and of course the ankle, of course you will see. So isme ek classical sign kya tha, whenever the patient is sitting, and you can also see in yourself also because we are not all deluxe designs. So kya hoga, whenever you'll get up from the chair, okay, you might see one of your foot is kind of it's placed forwards than the other foot, okay? Or sometimes your toe ka direction is not straight. Sometimes your toe is kind of pointing here, one of the toe is pointing there, one of the toe is pointing here, or one is pointing straight and one is pointing out, which clearly means ki aapka ye side ka hip is kind of rotated to that side. So that is how you can see the condition number 2. So of course the condition number 2 is the more advanced form of the impairment, and that's how you can categorize the patient into condition number 1 impairment, 2 impairment, and now we go to condition number 3 impairment. Okay, again I'll be sharing the screen for the condition number 3 impairment. So the condition number 3 is pretty simple. It attacks your head. ठीक है, अब इसमें what is shown is there is a posterior tilt. ठीक है, तो posterior tilt में क्या हुआ? So see, this is more or less similar to what was happening with the surgeon, है ना? जो मैंने भी थोड़ा टाइम पहले उनका जो सर्जन का एग्जांपल मेंशन किया था. So what is happening is इसमें क्या posterior pelvic tilt हुआ, ठीक है? Now this is like a simple design which is shown like a satellite dish. ठीक है, तो जैसे satellite dishes होते हैं, so they project like that. अगर इसका hip ऐसे गया है posterior tilt में, which means इसका direction कहाँ जाएगा? This side. So इसका alignment गया इधर. To compensate, यहाँ पे classical sign of forward head. This is not even forward head. This is head jut, which is like your head is literally sliding forward, like it's not even bent. And obviously, I mean, you cannot even imagine कि इस state में the condition number 3 impairment में आपके साथ क्या क्या हो सकता है. You can have a TMJ pain. You can have sinusitis. आपके जो sinuses block होते हैं, patients come with a lot of. You can have the lymph nodes swelling. And when you start treating all of this, you start fixing, धीरे धीरे you will see the patient will come saying कि मेरा sinus ठीक हो गया और मेरा lymph nodes का swelling कम हो गया. And you will have a classical sign of the neck pain and the neck cases, the migraine cases. See, you can see the rounding, drooping of the shoulder. Okay, so this is very much responsible for your rotator cuff. Your condition number 2 and your condition number 3 is very much responsible for your rotator cuff. But what is happening is, Sida, you will go to the surgery, you will get your rotator cuff fixed. See, I think you can see here. So migraine headaches, TMJ, jaw pain, dizziness, shortness of breath, constipation, hemorrhoids, varicose veins, carpal tunnel, anxiety attacks. Yeah. So there are a lot of anxiety attacks. So this is a classic posture that you will see with a depressed kind of people, low self-worth and low self-confidence with this classic posture. And it is kind of So see the despair, depression, poor balance, and it is not good to say, but yeah, we are getting to see this posture, condition number 3, a lot of this posture in today's scenario. So so that is what happens in your condition number 3. So basically, obviously, it's very easy to treat a patient with condition number 1, becomes a little difficult for condition number 2, and of course it's a big deal to treat a patient for condition number 3. And I would like to show you the deluxe body. Okay, I think हम लोग ने बहुत सारा ये बात किया. Now again to the screen, I would like to show you a deluxe body design. So this is your deluxe body design, which is technically called as condition number 4, but we won't call it as condition number 4. This is no condition. This is the most appropriate. This is the most amazing gift or a blessing somebody could get. And I am sure, like even as physios, we don't have this design. It's a myth. You need to go check yourself. Okay. So your hip joint is aligned like that, knee is aligned. वो जो हमने 4 socket design देखी थी, shoulder is aligned. इसमें क्या होता है आपका energy, health, exhilaration, pleasure, आपका इसमें सब कुछ, everything is optimum. It obviously your hip is level with the ground. आपका this hip looks like this. And this is called as squaring. So how your hip squaring happens is आपके ये 2 point they meet in a straight line. Okay, so that's how hip squaring happens. And जब हम लोग, okay, one more thing, the patient presents with a limb length discrepancy, है ना? तो उसमें भी we know something. The limb length discrepancy, even that we know that sometimes it's a real limb length discrepancy, sometimes it's not, and most of the times it's not. Because and then again it's the compensatory mechanism at the hip. Once you fix the hip, there's no limb length discrepancy. And I don't like putting my patients onto splints a lot. Like aap unko ek footwear modification de doge, aap unko, you know, you will give the splints. But the point is, footwear modification se bhi, you're just making the patient go like that forever. Because अगर उसको फुटवेयर मॉडिफिकेशन मिल गया तो वो अपना हिप कभी स्टेबलाइज करेगा ही नहीं. And that's how you need to work on the, you need to work on the hip. And then if you find that even a sole would do the job or anything like that, then put the patient onto footwear modifications. Because क्या होता है, modification is like facilitation. आपने कोई भी splint दिया, उसको एक ये हो जाएगा, एक temporary stability मिलेगा. और अगर उसको उस चीज का, if the patient is habitual of that stability, तो boss, you have just congratulations, you have enhanced जो उसका root cause है वो आपने उसका permanent कर दिया. So I would say that as a physio, your goal should be weaning off as a just a second, somebody has texted something. Okay. So someone here doesn't know Hindi, so I will continue in English. Okay, fine. Sorry. Okay. So what will happen is, once you give the footwear modification and the splints to the patient will have a false sense of stability. And the patient will start, the body will also start, accepting that as a part of the muscles. And then you will not be honestly hitting the root, as like I'm saying, and you will be putting the patient into permanent damage. And as a physio, I would always advise that there is a best, like you should always you should always aim towards, making your patient go off the splints. And with this, we conclude the condition 1 impairment, which is at your hip and your foot, the condition 2 impairment, which goes at your rounded shoulders, forward and backwards, the condition 3 impairment, which involves your head and the structures around it, and the condition 4, which is a deluxe body design. Okay, so I think with this, I have clarified a lot of things around this. Okay, I think I'm ready to end the session. So anything anyone would like to ask me, anything, I'm open for the postural impairment.
Thank you, Dr. Vinita.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Garima.
so much. Very knowledgeable session. I
Okay, thank
think everyone enjoy and
you. And you know what? Why did I take this session? Because first of all, as physios, we need to fix ourselves. सबसे पहले अगर हम अपने आप को इस तरह से डीलक्स बॉडी डिजाइन में लेके घूमेंगे तभी हम सामने वाले को पहचान पाएंगे. So
yeah, of course.
otherwise we take care, you know. Okay, I hope you guys love this session and I liked it taking it for you. And let me know कुछ भी doubts and comments and anything. Welcome, more than welcome.
Okay.
Dr. Garima, are we ready to end the session?
Pardon?
Are we ready to end the session? How is it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just give another 2 minutes if anybody wants to ask anything.
Of course, of course, of course.
Dr. Vinita, myself, Dr. Sita here.
Hi, hi.
Hi. How it is, maybe because of uneven surface
Yeah.
walking, I'm landing it into again and again. That is the main reason I'm asking. How could you, I mean, fix the this rotations of the pelvic? One side it is anterior tilt and the other side it is posterior tilt.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. On that note, Dr. Sita, I would like to tell you,
Hmm.
I was a condition 3 person.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you, 10 years ago, not abhi ke baat nahi hai, this is 10 years
Huh.
ago, I was a condition 3 person. And you know, so the thing is, I'm for your answer, it is another webinar. Because it will be another webinar on how you will be fixing your impairments. Okay.
Yes, I think that will be much better if we'll take this session as a series only. The postal dysfunction, how to correct this postal dysfunction 1, then postal dysfunction 2. We can take that if you want.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
continue this series.
Yeah. So there is a method. So there is a very big method that, you know, and the exercises are damn simple. Huh? If you will see the exercise, you will be like, "Arey, ye exercise se kya hoga?" But that's not the case. So slowly, what happens is the point is you have to function. You have to focus on the bilateral functioning of your body. ठीक है?
Yes.
जैसे कि if one shoulder is going 40 degrees, no? Noise actually. Let me just mute everything. Okay, Dr. Sita, can you hear me? I'm
Yeah, ma'am,
sorry.
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, lovely. ठीक है. So the point, the catch is ना कि अगर आपका right shoulder suppose आपको सिर्फ 20 degrees पे ही left का equilibrium का feeling दे रहा है ना, तो you just so you know you just have to do 20 degrees of left shoulder ka and 40 degrees of right shoulder pe, suppose if you are having a biceps curl, ठीक है? So if you're doing that exercise, so the thing is there are a lot of exercise वैसे करके slowly you can fix, you know, all these conditions. So there's a series of exercise जो अपने को condition 3 से condition 1 पे and then of course deluxe पे लेके जाता है. But that is very long. I honestly cannot take it here. And but I think you just got the gist of it, no, Dr. Sita?
No issue, ma'am. We'll discuss this if it is very long and if it is unable to finish in the sessions, we can take this as a series also, as our Maharashtra team is also taking a series of ANAD, biomechanics and other things.
Okay,
So we
lovely.
can continue this series if everyone is okay with it. What are the participant views on this? Everyone can text their opinion if otherwise
we can have
otherwise-
it on the WhatsApp chat group also. We have the group, no?
we already have that WhatsApp chat group, so even there also everyone can put their comment regarding the sessions and everything.
Okay, so people, apart from the fixing of this, which is a very long topic, what other questions you have or anything, or we would just like to exit this session? Okay, there's this message from Shah Amir. Shah Amir, nice topic. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I think, Dr. Garima, we are ready to end this session.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you again, Dr. Vinita.
Thank you, ma'am.